Want to see a joystick hack you can use with your DJI Mini 2 that'll help you achieve smooth cinematic footage? Then don't go away. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where we review tech related to making YouTube videos and other gear tips and tricks videos just like this one. So if you're liking this content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. So like many of us, you brought your drone to get those awesome cinematic shots of sweeping landscapes and cities and want to make your videos look like an opening sequence of a James Bond movie. Then you discovered that controlling your drone in order to get that type of shot wasn't as easy as you first thought. Well, in this video, I'll show you a quick joystick hack that'll make it a lot easier to get those types of shots without changing any settings. But if you have a little bit more patience, stick around until the end and I'll show you the perfect gimbal settings to give you that smooth, buttery footage. So let's get into it. So I first saw this hack when watching a drone webinar by a guy called Alex Harris. I'll put a link in the description below so you can check out his courses. He runs a business called Drone Launch Academy and has put together a bunch of tips, techniques and education on how to get the best aerial photography using drones. Anyway, he introduced this somewhat unusual hack in his webinar and I tried it out. It's kind of counterintuitive to start with, but it actually works pretty well. When you're trying to control your drone, it can seem a bit jumpy and jerky, and part of the reason for that is that the sticks on the controller amplify the movement that your thumbs are putting onto them. If you're not used to controlling devices like these, it's natural to be quite fast and erratic with your movements, at least until you build up some control and muscle memory. So Alex's solution was to remove the sticks and just use the indentations and screw holes that the sticks go into to control your drone. By doing this, you'll have more control over the movement that you put into the rocker switches and are able to produce smoother moves for your drone. It does seem weird at first, but give it a go and see what you think. Now, I found that as you become more controlled and deliberate with your movements without using the sticks, that flows over to when you use the sticks as well. You end up being much smoother and your movements flow more, which leads to smoother drone movements and therefore more cinematic motion in your footage. But if you want to take your drone footage to the next level and you use this technique in conjunction with some setting changes for your drone, then you will definitely be giving yourself every chance of getting smooth footage without the jerky movements. So stick around and I'll show you exactly what settings to change. First of all, before we change any settings, when you're taking footage with your drone, you want to make sure you use the drone in cine mode. Now this mode reduces the speed of your movements considerably to allow much smoother movements of the drone, even if you're quite harsh with your stick controls. It's also quite a good mode for beginners or if it's your first time flying a drone because it restricts the speed you can fly and reduces the chance of having an accident. To use cine mode, simply use the selector switch on your controller to change it from normal to cine. Next, you should adjust the gimbal and drone movement settings within the app to slow down the movements even more. So hit the three dots on the top right of the app, then select Control, then scroll down and select Advanced Gimbal Settings. Here you will see the speed adjustments for the pitch up and down of the gimbal and the side to side or yaw movements of the drone. You want the pitch speed to be quite slow and the smoothness to be quite high. This means when you move the gimbal up or down, it will do so quite slowly, and when you take your finger off the control, the smoothness means it won't stop suddenly, it will slowly stop, which looks a lot nicer than an abrupt stop. My recommendation for settings here is make the smoothness quite high, around 70 is good, and bring the pitch speed down to around 10. Now these are a good place to start, but you can experiment yourself to see what suits you. The yaw settings work the same way and relate to the side-to-side movement of the drone, so when you rotate it around to the left or right, you'll be able to do so in a smooth way. So again, you want the speed down quite low and the smoothness up quite high. To demonstrate what effect this has, if I move the yaw speed up to the highest setting, you can see how ridiculously fast it moves. So bring this setting all the way down to the slowest, which is 5. As for smoothness, again, we want that quite high, so bring that up to somewhere around 80. Then you can see a massive difference. This is one of my favorite shots when you're lifting the drone up and turning at the same time, and with those settings you can see it is nice and smooth and, dare I say, cinematic. Now I've tried to make these same movements in normal mode and control it as carefully as I can, and whilst it is definitely possible, it takes a lot of practice and is much harder to execute as the gimbal and movement settings of the drone are still way too fast. But by using cine mode and changing the settings to what I've recommended, you'll find that your results are not only much better, but easier to achieve as well. Now it just comes down to some practice to perfect the moves you like the most. My recommendation is that you use normal and sports mode to get the drone to where you want to take your footage, and once you're there, switch it to city mode. The settings you changed before will still be there, and then you can get on and take some amazing cinematic buttery smooth footage. And the good thing is, because you're in city mode, it's also a lot safer. Now, I've been taking a lot of photos with my Mini 2 drone lately, and I've made a video explaining the best settings and techniques so you can easily get those banger Instagram pics, just like these ones. So check out that video and I'll see you over there. Cheers guys.